This video will focus on testing of hypothesis for population mean when variance is known for z-test. In my further video, I will address when variance is unknown on the same z-test. In my earlier videos, I have briefed regarding all the components that are related to testing of hypothesis, formulation of hypothesis, two-tail test, one-tail test, critical reason, rejection reason, and decision taking. All the components relating to hypothesis testing. Those videos are available in the description box. You can go through that. We better to know the assumption of t-test because all parametric tests are based on assumption. So t-test also has its own assumption. Firstly, the sample must be randomly selected. A part of sample collected from the population won't represent the whole population. So the sample you selected for the study, for the testing statistics must be selected randomly. For selecting random sample, there are some probability and non-probability methods. According to those, you need to go through that. And to apply for z-test, the data must be quantitative. Because for statistics, you cannot apply qualitative data. If your data is a qualitative nature, you must convert the data into quantitative data using some of the proper methods available in the statistics. So we can apply z-test for only quantitative data. One more assumption is that the sample should be larger sample in nature for z-test. If your sample is less than 30, you can go for t-test. If you want to apply z-test, the sample should be more than 30. So we call z-test as large test. So this assumption also must be met by the data you are testing. And a very important concept in parametric test is all the data must be follow normal distribution. The data must be normally distributed since data is a larger sample. So you must meet the normality condition for your data. These are the few examples, few assumptions. Based on these assumptions, z-test will run on it. Before testing hypothesis under z-test, you must be ensured that all these assumptions met. Now let us consider a problem for testing hypothesis. Before that, in the z-test for single population, in that sampling distribution of the test statistic depend upon the variance based on whether variance is known or unknown. So that we will get two types of cases, that is variance is known, variance is not known, which means variance is unknown. If you know the variance directly, you can apply it to the formula. If you are not knowing the variance, you have to estimate the variance. The formula for calculating when the variance is known is z is equal to x bar minus mu divided by standard deviation square root of n. Root n. So here it is clear you must calculate mean. If you are ready with mean, you can apply here, and it is a population mean. Mu is a population mean and standard deviation. In this case, you know. So standard deviation directly you can apply to the formula. And this is a sample. N is a sample. You have to take the root of n and then you will divide by standard deviation. In this video, I will address when the variance is known. In next video, I will address on variance is unknown. So when variance is unknown, you have to estimate the variance. To estimate variance, for calculating variance, we will use this formula. Using this formula, we will estimate variance. After estimating variance, we will apply to the another separate formula that just we calculate when variance is known. Then now let us consider a real problem for which we can formulate a hypothesis and test a hypothesis. Consider a problem here. A light bulb company claims, you should concentrate on claims that the 100-watt light bulb itself has an average life of 1200 hours and with a standard deviation of 100 hours. A light bulb company claiming that 100-watt light bulb it is selling currently has an average life of 1200 hours with standard deviation 100 hours. So to test this claim, 50 new bulbs were selected randomly and allowed to burn out. So these 50 samples are selected randomly and 50 sample is there. It is not less than 30, it is 50. and this data is selected randomly. So these 50 new bulbs having the average lifetime of these bulbs was found to be 1180 hours. So claim is that 1200 hours, and after testing the average lifetime of these bulbs was found 1180 hours. Now the question is the company's claim is true at 5% level of significance. The company is claiming that their 100 watt light bulbs it is selling currently has an average life of 1200 hours with 100 hours of standard deviation. We have to check that, we have to test that claim whether the claim is true. To test this claim, we have to derive the sum of the information that we want to apply to the formula. So the company is claiming 100 watt light bulb has an average life of 1200 hours. So the claim would be population mean. That's a specified value of population, that is a mu. Since the company is claiming, this claim would be treated as population mean. So mu is equal to 1200 hours. And along with that, there is a standard deviation. Standard deviation is 100 hours. And to test this claim, company has selected 50 new bulbs. So 50 is a sample size. Sample size in this case is 50. After testing, the average lifetime of these bulbs were found to be 1180 hours. So this 1180 hours is a sample mean and 5% level of significance. With this information, we can apply to the formula and we can test the hypothesis. So before that, if you look into the steps that are followed to test the hypothesis, firstly we need to formulate a null and alternative hypothesis. In this example, the population parameter being tested is population mean. That's the average life of bulbs. Here average life of bulbs, that is a mu. It means we want to test the company's claim that average life of bulb is 1200 hours. So our claim would be simply mu is equal to 1200 hours, and complement to this mu is not equal to 1200 hours. So average life of bulb is 1200 hours and average life of bulb is not 1200 hours. So we have two hypothesis. One is claim, that is a mu is equal to 1200, and its complement is mu is not equal to 1200. So for null hypothesis, we have to select the hypothesis which involves equality sign. Since our claim includes the equality, I have considered null hypothesis as mu is equal to 1200 hours. So null hypothesis would be average life of bulb is 1200, and alternative remaining would become alternative hypothesis that mu is not equal to 1200 hours. So formula we use to test this hypothesis is z is equal to x bar minus mu, in the denominator standard deviation by root n. Here I am going for z test because number of sample is greater than 30. If it is lesser than 30, I had to go for t test. Here sample size is greater than 30, it means 50 in this case. So we have to test the hypothesis under z test. So we set up hypothesis, and also we decided the type of appropriate test, that is a z test, and we have to decide level of significance. In the problem itself, they have asked 5% level of significance. So now we can test the statistics. So this is x bar sample mean. The sample mean 1180 and population mean is 1200. That's a population mean I have considered, and directly they have given standard deviation. Standard deviation is 100 hours I have considered, and the sample size is 50, that is put in root. So if you subtract 1180 by 1200, you will get minus 20, and first take the square root of this and divide by this standard deviation. So if you divide by standard deviation, you will get 14.14. When you divide minus 20 by 14.14, you will get z tested value is minus 1.41. So in this step, we tested the hypothesis using appropriate test, that is a z test. Now we have to take a decision based on the tested value and critical value. Now I have to determine critical value for this test. To take decision, you need to go for critical values. So this is a critical values of Z test I have written that you are shown looking at here. So this is a level of significance. I have given critical values of Z test for two level of significance, that is 5% and 1%. 5% is generally used by most of the situation for the most of the case. So you need to understand this table. Here it is a level of significance alpha at 5% and 1%, and here this column is for two-tailed test and these two columns for one-tailed test. In one-tailed test, right-tailed test and left-tailed test. Now how to select our critical value means we have to look into the 5% level of significance in that two-tailed test. Our tailed test is two-tailed test because our alternative hypothesis indicating that two-tailed. So look at here, our alternative hypothesis is a two-tailed type, that's an equal, not equality sign, which is not either lesser than or which is not either greater than, which is a not equality sign. So since our alternative hypothesis is an equality or not equality type, we will decide this is a two-tailed test. So in the Z critical values, you want to look into the two-tailed test only. So this is your two-tailed test. In the two-tailed test, select for 5% level of significance. So then your critical values for Z statistics at 5% level of significance is plus or minus 1.90. So after getting critical value for your level of significance, you want to put that critical value and tested value into the graph. So here our tested value is minus 1.41. In this graph, since this graph is symmetric about its mean, so from center of it 0.5% from to left side, 0.5% to right side. This right side is a positive values, infinity, positive infinity, and this right side is a left side is a negative infinity. Since our tested value is negative value, I have put that negative value into the left side of the graph. That is minus 1.41. So since this is a mu, the central value is 0 and it is minus 1, and our tested value is minus 1.41. So our tested value could come here, somewhere here. But our Z critical value is here, 1.96. And since it is a two-tailed test, rejection region will fall in the both side of the graph. So 0.025 from this left side and the same value 0.025 from the right side. So Z minus 1.96, Z 1.96. Here it is our critical value and here 1.41 is our tested value. So the area which is not shaded is 1 minus alpha, which means non-rejection region. So look at it, this graph very carefully. If your tested statistics falls in rejection region, it means shaded area, you will reject the hypothesis directly. If your tested statistics falls in unshaded area, which means non-rejection region, you will retain your null hypothesis. You are not going to reject the null hypothesis. Observe very carefully, our tested value is not lies in non-rejection region in this, which means our tested value falls in the non-rejection region. So here value 1 minus 1 and our 1.41 will come somewhere here it will come, which means this value is not falling in the non-rejection falling in the rejection region, not falling in the rejection region. Since our tested value falls in non-rejection region, we are going to retain the null hypothesis. We are not going to reject the null hypothesis. So you can also take the decision based on p-value. P-value will compare p-value with your significance level. Your significance level in this case is 0.05. Since your p-value is greater than 0.05, you will retain the null hypothesis. To take decision based on p-value, that p-value must be greater than alpha, that is significance level. In this case, your alpha is 0.05, whereas your significant p-value is 0.1586. Since p-value is also greater than alpha, we will retain the null hypothesis. So if you want to take the decision based on the tested value and the critical value, Here our critical value, which means tabulated value, the value derived from table, tabulated value for two-tailed test at 5% level of significance are plus or minus z alpha by 2. Since it is a two-tailed test, your alpha will be divided by 2, which means 0.025 by either the side for 0.05. That is plus or minus z 0.025 equals to plus or minus 1.96. Your critical value is 1.96. So you have to compare your critical value with your tested value. Since your critical value of tested value of or calculated value is minus 1.41 is greater than critical value of minus 1.96 in the left side and less than critical value of 1.96 in the right side. That means it is falling between the two side rejection region, which means it is lies in non-rejection region. Since it is lying in non-rejection region, we will retain null hypothesis. We do not reject null hypothesis. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for further videos and do subscribe to my Vision Academy YouTube channel. Thank you.